Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today we're jumping into the world of the risk analyst in investment banking.
A really critical role, and we're drawing heavily on insights from Ayub Sheikh, a recruitment expert with, well, tons of experience in this area.
Yeah, exactly. He sees it all. So we're aiming to unpack what this job is really about.
Right. It's about managing financial risk, using data, models, and making sure everything stays compliant.
Okay, let's get straight to it then. What are the sort of day-to-day responsibilities? What do they actually do?
Well, think of them as the bank's financial lookouts, maybe even firefighters sometimes.
Okay.
They're analyzing different kinds of risk, market risk, credit risk, operational stuff.
The big ones?
Yeah, the big ones, and figuring out how to, lessen the potential hit.
So spotting problems before they happen.
Exactly. They're constantly watching trading activities, investment portfolios, seeing where the risks, the exposures are building up.
So it requires being really proactive, not just reactive.
Absolutely. That's key. Anticipating issues is a huge part of it.
And I guess that involves some serious number crunching, looking at data.
Oh, definitely. They build and use pretty sophisticated models.
To do what, exactly?
To simulate stress scenarios. Like, what happens if interest rates suddenly shoot up? Or there's a big market shock?
Ah, okay. So the bank can see how it would hold up.
Precisely. Some models use past data to forecast potential losses. Helps find the weak spots,
Makes sense. And you mentioned compliance before. There's got to be rules involved, lots of them.
Oh, yeah. The rule book is thick. Think Basel III, Dodd-Frank. Ensuring the bank follows these regulations is, it's non-negotiable.
Keeps the system stable, hopefully.
That's the goal. They also generate lots of reports for senior management.
Giving them the risk picture.
Exactly. A clear, data-driven view. This helps the top brass make big strategic calls.
So they're definitely not just stuck in a corner office somewhere. They're actually influencing things.
For sure. And it's not just spreadsheets either. They're involved in enforcing the risk limits and policies the bank sets.
Yeah.
Meaning they might work directly with traders if someone's activity looks too risky or goes over the set limits.
Ah, so collaboration is big.
Huge. They work with lots of different teams, trading, IT, legal, you name it, making sure everyone understands the risks. And tech is massive now, too.
Right. Speaking of tech, what tools are we talking about? What's in their toolkit?
Well, there are specialized risk platforms like MSCI Risk Metrics or Bloomberg Mars, pretty standard in the industry.
Okay.
But they also need serious data skills. Excel is still fundamental, often with VBA for automating things.
Still Excel, huh?
Yep. Plus the SQL for database work, and increasingly Python or R for the heavier modeling and analysis.
So proper coding skills are needed now.
Becoming very important. And then for showing the results, tools like Power BI or Tableau. Visualizing complex data clearly.
Okay, so it's a real blend, finance knowledge and tech skills. Based on Ayub Sheikh's insights, what are the absolute must-have skills?
Well, first off, a deep understanding of those risk frameworks. Market, credit, operational. That's the foundation.
Right.
Then, strong quantitative skills. You need to be really comfortable with stats, probability, building models, just analytical work.
Makes sense. What else?
Awareness of global banking regulations is vital. You have to keep up. And communication skills are huge.
Really? Why so important?
Because you need to explain complex risks to people who aren't risk experts.
Yeah.
From traders to senior execs.
Gotcha. Being able to translate the numbers.
Exactly. Plus, strong problem-solving skills, spotting threats, figuring them out, and of course, being good with those tech tools we mentioned.
Sounds challenging. What are the biggest hurdles? What keeps risk analysts up at night?
Well, market volatility is a constant. And those sudden, unexpected events that the black swans.
Things nobody saw coming.
Right. Also, just keeping an accurate, real-time view of risk across huge, complex portfolios. That's a massive task.
I can imagine.
There's also that tricky balance. Letting the bank innovate and make money versus keeping risk under control.
The eternal tug of war.
Pretty much. Then there's navigating all the regulatory scrutiny, ensuring compliance all the time. It's high pressure.
And working across teams.
Yeah. Coordinating effectively between, say, trading desks and support functions can be tough, getting everyone aligned.
And finally,
just making sure the models and reports are actually accurate and reliable. Everything depends on that. If the data or model is wrong, big problems.
Definitely high stakes. Ayub Sheikh also gave us a peek into interview questions, didn't he? What might recruiters ask?
Yeah, you might get something like, how do you approach building a risk model for stress testing? They want to hear your process.
Okay, checking the methodology.
Right. Or how do you ensure you have visibility of risk across large, complex portfolios? That tests your strategies for handling scale.
Practical stuff.
And maybe tell us about a time you helped deal with regulatory scrutiny on a risk issue. Looking for real-world experience with compliance heat.
Good examples. So wrapping this up, this deep dive, really guided by Ayub Sheikh's view, shows just how vital this risk analyst role is.
Absolutely. It's this demanding mix of finance smarts, tech ability, and regulatory know-how.
A unique skill set.
And what strikes me is how much this role acts as a sort of linchpin for the stability of the whole financial system.
That's a really important point. Makes you think, doesn't it? About that constant balancing act between pushing forward with innovation and maintaining stability.
Yeah, it really does. How do we best support these analysts in doing that? It's a critical question.
Indeed. A fascinating look into a crucial field. Huge thanks for sharing these insights.
My pleasure.
And thank you for joining us for this deep dive.